Now this had killed the market for of course.
I'm ready.
All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, watching me here on Blackwood Fire Network. My name is INNOSSETU, and of course, I'm broadcasting live from Kampala, Uganda. Let me hope your day has been so nice. Let me hope your day is moving on well. For those that are in countries where it is just morning, allow me to say hi to you and good morning to you. For those that are watching me where in the countries where it is morning, around 8 a.m. in the morning, around 9, where if you're in those countries. And if you're watching me from Africa, particularly in East Africa, I know it is an afternoon. It is exactly 36 minutes past 3 p.m. here in Kampala, Uganda. And of course, today is, of course, 17th of September, that is 2024. Yeah, we are taking now this month, the 9th month of the year. We are taking it slowly. Today is the 17th. I remember It was 2 weeks ago when we just started this month. It is running very fast. If you're watching me from, let me start with the Twitter. And those people that are watching me from Twitter, thank you for watching. And of course, if you have not subscribed into our Twitter channel, please go and subscribe. Go and subscribe, and of course, and like our videos. We always have, of course, shows from Monday to Friday, so don't miss out these shows. If you're watching me from Facebook, and of course, of course YouTube. For those that are watching me from YouTube, thank you for watching. And if it is your first time to watch me, you're seeing me for the first time, please endeavor to subscribe, become a member of Blackout Fire Network, become a Blackout Fire member as after subscribing in. We become family, and of course, whenever we are coming in for shows, like I said, from Monday to Friday, we have shows. We are here from Monday to Friday. So whenever we are coming in for shows and you subscribe to our YouTube channel, that is Blackout Fire Network 2, you're notified on your phone and on your laptop in case you're using a laptop to watch me. Yeah, today being a Wednesday, being a calm Wednesday, though it is somehow cold, but not too cold. It has just finished raining. Now it is drizzling outside. I guess you can, I don't know whether you can hear actually the drizzle sound, but that is what's going on outside here, where am I right about now. Yeah, today's topic is these days we are broadcasting based on true events, based on history, true history, and proof. Yeah, today is of course about the 1965 special report, which was called the Southern Negro. I know very many black, of course, African Americans. They have of course have they have ever had. Some of them have ever heard about this because it is because when if my calculation if my calculator is of course accurate. Uh, if it is too accurate, if my calculator is too accurate, someone who was there, of course, 59 years ago, someone who was in 1965, if at all someone was born in 1965, is 59 years now. So of course, he experienced, of course, what I'm going to talk about today. Yeah, this report was, of course, it was, of course, a report that dwells into the lives of the struggles of African Americans in the southern United States during the civil rights movement. This report highlighted the social, economic, and political challenges faced by the Black community, as well as their resilience and efforts to achieve equality and justice. Yeah, at the time, of course, we make these topics, we broadcast these topics, we come out with different topics, not because like we want to dwell so much on the past, but at times history repeats itself and history shapes the future. If it is not history, we wouldn't exist. If it wasn't our ancestors, we wouldn't be here. If it wasn't the history, we wouldn't. The pace we are having today, the minimum pace we are having today, it is because of our ancestors that fought that we are seeing today. If at all people were not, of course, enslaved, people were not taken through slavery to the United States and Europe, we wouldn't be seeing African Americans today. However, so history has a long way, of course, in the shaping of the future, because these are true events. These are true past events. True past events. These are true stories, true past events. That is history. So we come out at a time as we see things happening, and we look to be seeing these things for the first time and think they're happening for the first time. But when you go back to history, it gives us a light to understand what happened in the past, to understand where we are going. Like I said, the history at a time it repeats itself. We see the same things that happened in history happening today, happening in different countries, and people are like, does this ever happen? The Black people, the Black community, The blacks in the United States for a long time have been, of course, inferiorized, have been made to look inferior in whatever that they do, in whatever that they are going through. So um, there are a lot of things, of course, that have been done to, of course, to weaken the black people and the black community. Yesterday we had the topic about the destruction of the Wall Street, the people, the black people, the things they had worked for, the things that they had come out with, they were destroyed. The other time we had, of course, the inventions that were made by the black people. So a lot of things black people have went through in history. They have went through a lot of issues, and they are still going through a lot of issues, because I don't think there is any justice that can ever be given to the black people. However much uh, 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 a lot of unity is forged, a lot of equality is forged, but we see a lot of loopholes in this. We see a lot of distances. We see a lot of the distance that is between the black people and the white community. There is a lot of distance. When you look at the black people, they're the people that stay in ghetto. When you look at black people, these are people that are of course, accused of criminality in the US. When you look at the black people in Africa, these are people that are looked as the backward people, to the extent that even some black people have reached an extent of admitting that civilization was brought by the whites. If it wasn't whites, we wouldn't be civilized as we are. Yet in reality, we are, of course, they designed the system for we to look the way we are looking. The things have not, this discrimination has not just started today. I'm not a racist, by the way, but I'm talking about true events. I'm talking about issues, real issues that are happening today. So these are hints, of course, that shows, of course, which things are happening today, what black people went through in history versus what black people are going through today. Things have not changed. These years that have passed, that have passed over years, but issues have not changed. They are the same issues black people are still going through. However much enslavement's changed, but we are enslaved in the mind. However much the massacres ended, but black people are being shot dead. Black people are being killed recklessly. We had issues of Joy Floyd. We had even other issues of black people that have been criminalized, black people that have been killed in the history, and have not got justice. They have not been compensated because of their color, because they are black people. And they, at times they are called immigrants. They don't. There are some countries where black people are not recognized as citizens, but immigrants. So this entire system has of course attributed in history, and even up today has attributed to the living conditions black people are living in today. They attribute to a lot of issues and balanced development in black community. Yet, when you look at all these countries that have had developments, the so-called first-class countries, these are countries that were built by black people. These are countries that were built. Uh, it is uh, it is the sweat of the black people that we see. It is the black people that sweated for whatever that is, of course, these people are jubilating about. The minerals that are stolen from Africa to those countries, that's why they are developing very fast. They don't give black people a chance to develop. They don't give a Negro, they don't give African Americans a chance to develop, a chance to create their own identity. They don't give us a chance to learn our identity, to learn our culture, to identify ourselves for unity. For black people to live, we must be criminals, we must be disunited, we must not know our history, we must not know our identity, we must not understand anything that is related to black people. So, uh, so this, of course, is going to drive me, or this leads me to, of course, to the living conditions in the 1965, what black people went through. So you're going to judge, for whoever is going to watch this documentary, you're going to judge whether these things are happening in another name, whether these things are happening because some of these old documentaries, they are in black and white. So you're going to judge yourself. Are these things that we are seeing today, that we are seeing in 1965 in this report, are they still happening in another name? In this, of course, in the other side, are they happening in the world today? Of course, of the black community, of the African American community, are things still happening? The poverty, the regional imbalances, lack of hearing from courts, of course, reckless killings of black people without nobody caring about this. So this is going to give us actually a hint of what is happening, of course, today in of course the black community. Of course, a lot of things are happening, and we see a lot of things happening today, and we'll be like, why do these things happen like this? Is this true? Is this true? Are these true events? Are these things are the things that we are seeing today happening? Are these true? Are like people will be like, are these things true, or it is just exaggeration? So these things happen. So our ancestors, our people went through a lot, and of course, we can't, of course, neglect what they went through during those days, and of course, the peace they fought for peace. So we can't neglect anything, but of course, stay back as of course as we enjoy this, of course, this documentary together. Just sit back. We are going to see, we are going to enjoy it together and see what black people, of course, went through in the past. So you're free, of course, to comment in down there. You're free to comment in if at all whatever that is going to be, of course, broadcasted here is not true. You can be free to comment in, of course, before anything. So, so this is a copyright disclaimer under the section of 107, the Copyright Act of 1976. We see that, this, of course, copyright disclaimer is under the section of, so the all this, of course, this content that I'm going to, of course, to broadcast today is for personal use. Actually, is for, of course, is non-profit, of course, educational or personal use tips in the balance of favor of fair use. So allow me share this so that these people, so YouTube, don't put this down. Allow the people to understand and of course get to know true history and of course what people went through uh, in, of course, history.
The legend of the antebellum South. Elegant neo-Grecian mansions. Coquettish belles under the magnolias. Dancing with young men, gallant and reckless, ready to duel for a lady's honor. The kindly master ruling his kingdom with justice and humanity, and served by his faithful, contented darkies. My name is R.C. Davis. I was born in Cogdell, Georgia. The South and the Southern way of life has always been an enigma, a kind of sphinx on the American land, one writer said. White people speak of their way of life with pride and affection. But one white man from Maryland, H.L. Mencken, wrote, fundamentalism, Ku Kluxery, revivals, lynchings, Ogwalla politics, these are the things that always occur to a Northerner when he thinks of the South. What is the Southern way of life? Is it based on the myth or the reality of the past? Did it ebb its life away at Shiloh and Gettysburg? Or does it still live for the 43 million whites and 11 million Negroes who live there today? I love the South, a man said in 1958. I don't choose to live anywhere else. There's land there where a man can raise cattle. That's what I'm going to do someday. There are lakes where man can sink a hook and fight the bass. There's room there where my children can play and grow and get to be good citizens. Medgar Evers, a Negro, said that. Our program in the History of the Negro People series deals with the life of the Negro in the South, in the past and in the present. The past is never dead, William Faulkner wrote. It is not even past. This is Oxford, Mississippi, where the past is preserved in granite monuments that record a tragic and glorious history. But in Oxford, the past lives beyond images etched in stone. It survives in the memories and in the myths of its people. Yet Oxford is an ambitious community, facing the promise and the problems of the 20th century. Perhaps Oxford can best be described by its mayor.
Oxford consists of some fine people, both colored and white. It's a town of about 6,000 people, people that like to tend to their own business, and they like to try to help in every way possible in the civic affairs, in the church affairs, and try to build a better community. Oxford is, in my opinion, is one of the finest little communities to raise a family. We've been used to more or less a segregated life. This is something that our colored people here are adjusted to. They are happy and they're well satisfied. A lot of them depend largely upon the white. And I would like to say this, that the white people here depend largely on them for help and so on. And they will go to their aid. That's what the colored people like. They like someone that if they get in trouble, sickness, that church should burn or something, the white people here step in and they help them out, and the colored people appreciate it.
There are 1,600 Negroes in Oxford, mostly unskilled, and there are few jobs except as janitors, cafeteria, and yard workers. In the Negro quarter, large families live in 2 and 3 rooms. As in most Southern communities, Negro women are the main support of the family, working as maids, washwomen, and nurses. 73% of Oxford's Negroes receive some form of welfare relief. At the Mary Buey Museum, Oxford's most celebrated citizen, William Faulkner, is memorialized. Mary Rowland is the custodian of the museum. As Faulkner described so vividly, she shares with most white Southerners a sense of intimacy with their Negroes.
The fact that we have a good set of Negroes here, and they don't want to be disturbed. They really are. I have one that I just love. She nursed my children for about 6 years, and I wouldn't have her want for a thing if I found out that she needed something. And I was right amused when my daughter from Arlington, Virginia came down. She was one of the children that Missy had nursed. And I got my son to drive us out to see Missy. And she had also nursed him. And his little boy was in the car with us. And when Missy came out, she said, "Look at my children." And she put her arm right around William's shoulder. And the little boy just looked up at her, you know. He didn't know what to make of it. And I said, "Listen, Billy, she was a mother to him for a while. I tell you, she helped nurse him. I presume there's still some good ones around. Of course, there are some getting some ideas, and that's all right. That's progress. But we've got some mighty good darkies here."
Progress in the South has always been measured by the darky and by cotton. First there was tobacco, rice, and indigo to be worked. But by the end of the 18th century, there was a severe depression. Slavery seemed doomed. Then, in 1793, the invention of the cotton gin. Cotton could now be mass-produced, and an economic boom was in the making. Black hands and black backs were needed again to support a land. Who else could work so hard, so long, and so cheaply? But there were dangers in the system. Slaves could run away, or fight, or kill. And so, black codes were established that declared slaves were not persons, but property. These chattels could not leave the plantation without authorization. They could not visit the homes of whites or free Negroes. And for those who had the courage or the foolishness to defy the code, there was the whipping post, branding, prison, or death. As the country moved toward war, white men had established a moral system to meet their needs. At the heart of it was a belief in the Negro's natural inferiority. Slavery was declared not only an economic, but a social good. South Carolina's governor said, in all social systems, there must be a class to do the menial duties, to perform the drudgery of life. Such a class you must have, or you would not have that other class, which leads progress, civilization, and refinement. And the North destroyed all this, all the gentility and pride and honor that white Southerners called a way of life. More than 600,000 died in the war. 250,000 Southerners. Black men also fought and died. Of 186,000 Negroes who enlisted in the Union Army, 38,000 died. The South lay devastated. "Hell has laid her egg," said a Georgian visiting Atlanta. "Right here it hatched." Galveston, a reporter said, was a city of dogs and desolation, utterly God-forsaken.
After the Civil War, everybody in this country, in the Mississippi Delta, was bankrupt. All the chattels were gone, the cotton and whatever cotton had been ginned, stored, was burned, and this country was destitute. And of course, the slaves, the freed Negroes, were just as destitute as the landowners. And they were both in a pretty difficult situation.
4 million Negroes were free. Free under the Federal Reconstruction Acts for the first time to own their own homes. Free to go to school. Free to vote and hold public office. The first mixed jury in the South was impaneled for the trial of Confederate President Jefferson Davis. Half of the jurors were Negroes. Before 1901, 22 Negroes were elected to Congress. There were 2 Negro senators from Mississippi. 33-year-old Blanche K. Bruce was one. John Mercer Langston, a Negro abolitionist, who became a representative from Virginia. B.S. Pinchback, acting governor of Louisiana. There was graft and corruption. But during this time, Negroes were influential in passing bills for free public schools, abolished property qualifications for voting, and ended use of the whipping post and branding iron. Today, these laws still exist for everyone but the Negro.
I think the thing that Reconstruction did was not as important as the fact that the slave was now free, and a place had to be found for him. And the number, the sheer number, you see, of these untrained people, well, it was a tremendous problem.
A tremendous problem that has always haunted the South. Jobs for Negroes. Negroes who were often stronger, more capable for the work required. A laborless, landless, and homeless class, Lincoln called them, caught in a hazy realm between bondage and freedom. But in 1866, Union General Hatch said, "At issue in the South is not what shall be done with the Negro, but what shall be done with the whites." They were the victims of poverty and poor land, of malaria and hookworm, about whom the Negroes used to sing, "You can't make a living on sandy land. I'd rather be a nigger than a poor white man." And to these whites, there was horror at the specter of black supremacy, blacks winning control and competing for what had been exclusively theirs, lands, homes, and jobs. Birth of a Nation, a movie classic produced in 1915, dramatized what had now become the prevalent white attitude, the fear of incompetent, criminal, and savage Negroes who, with federal bayonets, ravaged an innocent South. And so, to save the South, the Ku Klux Klan organized in 1865. On horseback with guns, sword, and the cross, they terrorized Negroes and their sympathizers with violence, arson, and murder. Today, though their techniques have progressed to air-conditioned limousines, they are still active, still dedicated to their faith that Jesus Christ was not a Jew, that the Pope of Rome is Antichrist, and the Negro is a beast who must be suppressed.
To describe that bunch, I'd have to use a whole lot stronger than I'm permitted to use, being a minister of the gospel. Amen. They go into the auditorium of the gymnasium for the after football game dance. Then comes along one of the nigger football players, and they all go piled in there together like that you are here tonight, just like a bunch of OICs and Berkshire hogs all trying to loosen a lot together. They go in there and they get to rubbing around, smelling that vanilla flavoring. Could you conceive the height of your fair-skinned daughter? Her dancing partner be tagged on the shoulder by some burr-head, liver-lip, goat-smelling, ape-faced nigger. Can you conceive such a thing? Are you going to do something about it?
Reverend W.N. Redmond, as most Southern Negroes, has been an eyewitness to the vigilante system of Negro control. At 14, he remembers the punishment of a Negro father and son who had killed a white man's dog.
They took them and put them in jail and they beat them. And then they got together on a Saturday. And they tied them with barbed wire, hand and feet. They put barbed wire around the neck and put the father on one side of the bumper and the Negro and the son on the other side of the bumper. They drug them all over the town. And after that, they were drugged to the neighborhood, the Negro neighborhood. They were told that this is the way that we're going to keep the Negro in this place. And they took gas, gasoline, and they poured it on them, and they burned them up.
Freedom and truth for former slaves required new definitions. Sheriff Boyce Bratton comments.
I feel that the Negro here in Lafayette County in Mississippi has freedom, all the freedom he wants. He's not tied by any laws, man-made laws, or made by Congress or any other lawmaking body. He has all the freedom that he wants. The Negro is not deprived of any freedom here in Mississippi.
Jim Crow, it was called. Beginning in 1870, signs went up all over the South separating the races and taking away the Negroes' newly won rights. Negroes and whites were separated on trains and buses. Negroes were barred from white hotels, restaurants, barbershops, and theaters.
I've also heard a number of times that the colored and the white were not equal under the law. That's true. The colored gets the break and the white man doesn't. For instance, one white and one colored breaks into a store here. In all probability, the colored man would get a very light sentence and the white man would get a heavy sentence. Now, that's not equality under the law. But it goes back to the thing that I said to start with, that the white man of the South feels like it's actually his job to look after his colored citizens, or the colored citizens, and they're not held accountable to the same stringent letter of the law that the white man is.
That no amalgamation of races should be allowed. In other words, they did not commit intermarriage. It was made death to maim or kill a horse or a cow or a slave.
By 1885, separate schools were the new order. At white and Negro schools, children, using the same textbook, learned the traditions of the past and absorbed the values of the present. In their History of Mississippi textbook, they read of life on a Mississippi plantation. The master and the mistress taught the Negroes truthfulness and honesty as they taught their own children, by not tempting them and by trusting them. With Negro slaves, it seemed impossible for one of them to do a thing without the assistance of one or two others. Of course, some kind of occupation had to be devised to keep them employed a part of the time, but it was very laborious to find easy work for a large body of lazy and inefficient people. And in their churches, too, white Southerners sang and prayed to a God that to them decreed segregation.
Well, certainly, I believe in segregation. I have stated that I have believed in it. I believe in it now, and I always will believe in segregation. First, because God teaches it. I think it's God's plan that the races be segregated. We find a lot of scripture on it. And for reasons that I've just mentioned, that I feel that their standards is not up to the white standard. I'm not going to force somebody to go to church with me. And that's what they're trying to do to the colored race. That's what the outsiders is trying to do. They're trying to come down here and force them to go to our church. I build a house. I have a right to live in that house. You don't have a right to come in and move in with me. I build a church. It may be it's a house of the Lord. But yet, I maintain if I build it, I have a right to say who will and who will not come in. Remember, it's come by invitation only.
By invitation only, became the right of Negroes also, as they found ways to live as free men in the South.
Seek the salvation of our kindred and acquaintance, to walk circumspectly. If you're just, somebody know it. And if you're just in your dealings, it'll soon be that folks will take your word. But if you're unjust in your dealing, won't nobody believe nothing you say. See what I mean?
In 1895, Booker T. Washington declared, "In all things that are purely social, we can be as separate as the fingers, yet one as the hand, and all things essential to mutual progress." By the end of the century, segregation was complete. The New South rose out of the ashes of the old, and the good nigger was the one who once again knew his place.
But as a rule, they are a very happy people. A large percent of them do not worry because they know that they're going to be taken care of. I've had a number of them to remark to me that, well, they know Mr. Brown or Mr. Jones, Mr. Smith's going to take care of us. They know that. They know that they're not going hungry. And they're not going to need for clothes as long as they'll work and do halfway right. They know that they're going to be taken care of. So they have no worries.
White folks were so good to me till when I got sick and disabled to work, to just come in and bring me something to eat, clothes, and everything. Fed me, clothed me, and I had a house full of children, and they fed my children. Yes, sir. I've been working all of my life, and the white folks raised me. Mister, I tell you the truth, I don't know what in the world I'd do without white folks. Now, that's the truth. And misters, I'm just a white folks nigger. I'm a nigger, and all of my children's a nigger. And all this community in here of Mississippi recognize, appreciate, and work for the white folks.
The Negro is not a part of my family. As a result, I don't elect to have him sit and eat with me. As a result, I don't elect to have him belong to a club that I may belong to. I don't elect to be.
For Judge Obar, as for most Southern whites, out of the past has come a philosophy he calls the Southern way of life. The Negro and his place is at the heart of it.
This is the way it has been. It's the history of the South. It's because we've been brought up like this. We have been taught like this. And we teach our children like this. And they'll teach their children like that. I think it is a matter that has been history all down through the years and will remain history.
Well, I guess it's just plain born in us, instilled in us. In spite of the fact that you have great respect for some Negro individuals, respect them as people, and not just as a servant. There is some physical revulsion, I think. The skin is dark. And I guess it's just something that we are so familiar with, it's just impossible really to overcome it.
For 11 million Negroes in the South, there is also a Southern way of life. But rarely have they been asked for their interpretation.
Well, the white man fears this, that if the Negro get equal education, that he will be out of his reach to do the job that he heretofore have done for him, and he figured that he was going to have to pay the Negro equal salary that he would have to pay the other boy, which actually is not the skin of the Negro that the white man dreads. It's the Negro is going to demand the dollar that the white man demands.
The Southern way of life for the Negro woman means that she is addressed all the time by her first name, or she's called auntie, or she's called girl by the other race. And the Southern way of life often means that our children wear some of the things that have been given by others. Now, a lot of times these are good things and they are highly appreciated. And the Southern way of life means that you can purchase food from a side entrance or a back entrance, or you can get someone to fix something for you to carry out. The Southern way of life means that you are to say yes, ma'am, and yes, sir, and no, ma'am, and no, sir. Sometimes that's expected even down to the teenagers.
In order to segregate the Negro, we essentially must segregate ourselves, you see. You cannot enslave, if you want to use that word, or hold down or discriminate against someone else without in turn having the same thing happen to yourself. The changes that will happen as they go along will release us, free us, if you will, so that we can have a much broader perspective on human responsibility and human dignity and human rights. Whereas before we thought in terms of white only, we will be able to think in terms of all men.
We live in hope. We have faith to believe that the good things that we hope for as human beings and as God's children will finally come to pass. So that's a part of my Christian life here in the way of life here in the South.
Oh, touch me, Lord. Touch me, Lord.
As we moved into the 20th century, for the older generation of Negroes, there was often only patience and faith in a better future. But in the middle of the 20th century, for the younger Negroes, something else was stirring. Something that would change the South and the Southern way of life. Something that was a long time a-coming and was too explosive to contain. Touch me, Lord. I want to be home.
You know where I go, and you know where I belong. So touch me, cleanse me through and through. Oh, touch me, Lord. Touch me, Lord. Touch me, Lord. Touch me, Lord. Just turn the light from heaven on my soul. Anything that should be, I'll take it out and tread on me. I want to be right, I want to be straight, I want to be whole.
Oh, big day, when the mists have rolled away, but we'll understand it better by and by.
I can't accuse you, you can't accuse me. But I want to tell you fellas, let me say this. I want to tell you fellas, I have never belonged to anything as serious as this. And I want to tell you, when I made this step, I call it taking a giant step. The things that we do in the street, that's in the street. But what we do here is something like a person's treasure locked up in a vault. It's here to stay.
Each person here bow down on both knees. His left hand facing the Bible. And his right hand up to God. I know. Who want to be first man? Good, Mr. Jackson. Your arm, just like that. Repeat after me. I do solemnly swear.
I do solemnly swear
that I will not.
that I will not
Reveal.
reveal
Or invade.
or invade
Any.
any
Of these.
of these
Above.
secrets
Within.
John Fisher there was interested in organizing an organization for the protection of Negro people.
I will.
And he invited me to his first meeting. And we met. We took oaths, swallowing, swore that we would give our lives to the organization, and nothing ever happened. He promised there would be more meetings the next week, the next 2 days, but never another meeting. It was just a complete, nothing was done.
In the Lord, and
I'm still simply
I don't want to
I don't want to pay you off.
All I want is my money, and I ain't working today. And tomorrow either. All I want is my money, and I will be back tomorrow or this evening.
Now, if you want me and you and OC and Nussy going on and chat thing,
I went over there yesterday and worked like a dog when y'all was sitting down. I'm not going to work all night on my money. Hey, he's straight. Wait a minute. Listen, I'm not talking to you. You didn't hire me, and listen, lay off me here. I ain't fun on shit. I ain't fun on stuff this morning. Don't argue with me. Don't say nothing to me because you didn't hire me. You understand me? Now, don't get me wrong. Sorry. But I ain't doing good. Sorry.
No.
You didn't hire me.
Come on, Mom. I said it to me, Dad.
What?
There are men in Natchez. There are women in Natchez. And there are children in Natchez. If the children can walk the line, you can protect them. One favor I want to ask of them. I want every man in here to stand up. Every man. All I want to say is every man in here with idle time. If you can't walk the picket line from tomorrow on, won't you come by, sit on the side somewhere and see what's happening so that if some of those people come up to hurt some of your children, your heart will be right. And I want to see every man who stood up and said he was a man be out by that picket line.
So the average cat would say, actually, the average guy would say now, if I'm on that picket line and get shot dead, they would say in their mind, if they would go around talking, say if he hadn't been on that line, he wouldn't have got killed. And that's a lie. I could have been at home, I still would have got killed.
I'm like Bilbo. Bilbo said, "Wasn't one good nigga, that's a dead nigga. There was one good white man, that's a dead man."
Well, all of them is wrong. You can't hate them, man. A lot of white guys are afraid, just like we are, you know. So when I grab that sign and get on that picket line, I couldn't say that I'm not afraid, man. I'm not afraid, but I still have fear, you know. Stay right there and die before I turn around. That's right. I got sense enough to know, man, that you don't die until your time comes. Yeah.
We need people that, if you see people around here who could go down and picket on Main Street,
Okay, I sure will.
I just had these little kids around 12 and 13-year-old, and they've been picketing all day. And
Everybody's gone.
yeah, and they're going to get a sunstroke if they keep on. So I'm going down canvassing for more kids. Oh, the little kids?
Little kids.
Yeah, the 12 and 13-year-olds.
You go up and give them my hands, George. No, I woke up that like I am. I'm blowed from last night, man.
Ever since the two civil rights projects came to Natchez, Negroes would sit around and discuss how they want to fight for their freedom and how they're ready to die for it. And soon as the man said, okay, man, come on, let's go up here and picket, then that's why everybody do all their dying right at this time, man. I sure wish I could come up there and help you out, man. Hot dog, I didn't know it was going to be a picket day. I got to go to a funeral today. Nobody never dies until it's going to be a march or a picket, you know. But and it started me thinking that the Negro was just fooling himself, that he was still ready to do nothing. Yeah, like, man, I was just about ready to give it up. Just about ready to turn around, and all of a sudden, boom.
Here is a repeat of an earlier news bulletin from WNET. George Metcalf, president of the Natchez chapter of the NAACP, was critically injured in Natchez this afternoon when dynamite hidden beneath the hood of his car exploded when he turned on the ignition. The injured Negro was rushed to Jefferson Davis Memorial Hospital, where he was given emergency treatment. Officials at the hospital declined to comment on his condition. Metcalf had been active in the voter registration drive in Natchez and had been a signer of a school integration petition.
Y'all gotta read. You know these buttons.
You know, I want to find out about. Hey, Ace, have you been in the hospital?
Yeah.
How are his eyes?
See that back?
Huh?
Closed.
His eyes are closed.
Yeah, both.
I mean, they have something open.
Well, now one of them was, you see, the right side was a big knot over this one, but the other one was swollen real bad and close too.
Well, will he be able to see? I heard that there's a possibility he may not be able to see him.
Well, it's according to what got in it. You know that.
America thinks the Negroes and Natchez are afraid, as they've said many times. But we ain't here to let them know that we aren't afraid. And this is CBS News, and they're going to let the world know that we're not afraid anymore. It doesn't mean that we're going to turn Mississippi into a bloodbath. Right? I go to talk to this man with the rifle.
What's going to happen here?
I'll tell you right now, from the way practically all the Negroes feel, it feels like the thing is about to happen when it happened in California. Now, whatever that you call that happened in California, a war or race riot or whatever it is, that's what's about to happen here.
Who will start such a riot?
Anybody here started right now, ready. Is that the question in the thing? You want to see it now?
Look, how is George looking? I don't want to see him. I don't want to, because I might go back out and start shooting up the nurses. Yeah.
Nobody gonna disarm us, that's another.
I shoot up the nurses. Let me tell you something.
Not a soul gonna stand there disarm nobody.
But you see now, what is happening is that the people are arming themselves, true. But tonight, people just want to serve notice on the city, that's all.
That's right.
That's all they want to do is serve notice. And the protest is just that we just going to let these people know we tired. And like Miss Evans say, before we be a slave, we'll be buried in our grave. Go home to our Lord and be free. That's all. Look, I had this fella to go pick up my address. You know my white dress? You know that big white green one? I had him go pick it up because I can't hardly make it in this little tight thing. We got to call the mayor. Hello? Yes. Oh, well, this meeting is tonight at 6 o'clock over here at the office. And of course, it's a somewhat of a protest meeting. Well, Mr. Evans will be one person here, and of course, I think the city of Natchez will be here. I'm just about sure the Negro community will be here because, you know, this is a bad time.
Southern white men don't understand violence. Unless we meet down violence with violence, we're not going to move anymore. It's just going to be, the civil rights movement is going to take 100 years. The quickest way to freedom is to meet violence with violence. Violence with violence. Black mama.
We all are saddened tonight, as we were saddened today, about this brutal attack upon our own. And I know all of us are angry, and nobody's more angry than I am. We all are tired of being mistreated, and we know who's responsible for this. We know who's responsible for this.
Right.
And we must use the weapon that we are soon going to have to get rid of. Now that weapon, very quiet, please. The weapon, the most effective weapon, will be, you know, is the vote. We know that.
No! Keep them straight, man. We've been keeping them straight too long. Keep them straight on their head. That's what I say. You my boy. Yeah, I'm your boy when you want to go out there and get them.
Let's hear what he's saying. Stay together. We've got to stick together. We've got to listen and be obedient and do what you're told. This is most important now. We cannot go off on a wild goose chase. We can't be as ignorant as they have been. Now, I was just told that Father Marcy here had something to read.
The mayor and the board of aldermen have agreed at 1 o'clock tomorrow to have a meeting and to meet with representatives of the various elements of our community. The purpose of this meeting is not merely to talk things over. For the first time, according to their promise, the purpose of this meeting will be to actually form a permanent community biracial committee. And the purpose of that committee will be to hear grievances, to sit down and discuss grievances, to look into what is wrong with our community and the justifiable complaints of our Negro citizens.
I guess the next day, they selected the committee. I really don't know too much about it, but I had heard that the Freedom Democrat Party kids and Evers had some kind of fight. And from the looks of the committee, Evers must have won.
Field representative, can't you see that? The poor people. Look at that NAA people. Nobody represents Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party. Who said nobody representing you? Well, does somebody have to? How this militant movement got started? I don't want to turn this table over now. No, yes I will too. Yes I will.
That's why frankly, is the reason why they will not talk to younger people. Because we don't like things, but we're going to hold our temper.
I think some ladies should be on because they've been out of town picking and when the men are sitting down, haven't been doing anything. Yeah, well, suppose you put men on this thing. All right. Men on this thing. No. Could I say something? When we go down there, I can go out and tell that man I paid $216 taxes. And these people down here, we are paying them to do a job. And we're gonna let them know we paid them to do a job and we want it done.
These are local natural citizens, tax-paying, voting citizens. Then that gives the thing a little weight.
Another thing I might add, in my own mind, anyway, it just doesn't make sense in the space of 24 hours to try to recruit from the small group that we might have present today, a permanent committee.
Maybe I don't understand. I think this committee here, that we get, and we hope will be a permanent committee to represent people until someone want to resign, somebody, they can always add to a committee. But I think you have a cross-section of everybody here. You don't have everybody here. You have a cross-section of all. You have laymen, you have businessmen, you have ministers.
But there was a provision for adding to our committee, and we find out before we go down how many.
Because too many people talking at one time just won't make much headway.
What's going on now doesn't make sense. No. That's right. It really does not. Because these men, all they are doing, they're going to be representing the different proposals that we're going to make up now. That's all they're going there for, regardless of who they are. We're going to make our proposal here now.
All right, what we're going to do, I think we should tell what we want them to go down and say.
That's right.
So now let's start giving, let's not ask for too much. Let's ask for about 8 or 10 things we know we can get. The thing that's most pressing. Now you got to be reasonable. There ain't no point in being unreasonable. Now let's ask the thing that we want and want some action on immediately.
First thing, if it's possible, to put on now that the mayor and the board of aldermen denounce all radical organization, whether it's Ku Klux Klan or any other radical organization.
Negro police.
Yeah. Let's get quick. Police protection at all schools.
Police protection, we got that on.
I think one important area that we're forgetting, and that's the equal distribution of tax funds and public funds.
The improvement of Negro neighborhoods. Negro police.
Yeah. Let's get quick. Police protection at all schools.
Police protection, we got that on.
I think one important area that we're forgetting, and that's the equal distribution of tax funds and public funds.
The improvement of Negro neighborhoods.
This is United Press calling.
Uh-huh.
Is this the NAACP office?
Yes, it is.
Has the committee come back from the mayor's office yet?
Well, no, it hasn't.
I see.
Oh, yes, it has. I see they're coming in now.
Well, do you have any word?
Accepted or rejected, or what their reaction was yet. So the chairman hasn't come up either.
The father got on the committee just said. The priest.
Yeah. Couldn't stop
He couldn't stop it. He took it over. He didn't take it over, but we all in outside.
He wasn't a spokesman.
Well, he wasn't exactly, but he's mostly.
Yeah, we didn't need him in election. We got to.
No, but I got to stay kind of clear of that. But all of us were able to drive our points home.
Good.
And on Wednesday night, we have another meeting. And to say they're going to work on every one of the questions on the list. And we'll give the complete answer and all that kind of thing. everything. And we had several close-up with some of the aldermen afterward.
That's right.
After the meeting, and of course I'm an optimist anyway, but I'm very enthused.
Oh yeah, all us, everybody feel real good. Everybody in the main company don't feel feel bad
much
about
better
it.
with the reception. I don't know what the outcome going to be, but it wasn't any hostile reception.
Did they say minister today?
We were going to point out they're going to do it so far as the mayor and board of aldermen is concerned. But they will not be able to direct people what to do with that privately.
I know.
But so far as official from the mayor and board of aldermen, they said that's one of the things that they're going to work on. They said,
Work on.
well, I mean, you know, yeah, well, that's right.
But as long as they do it first, then other people follow. I mean,
You know good, and I know. See, because you just smiling because he gave you a piece of bread and fruit, and I don't.
You wasn't there.
Yeah,
You agree what I'm saying?
but you see, you just as happy as a lamb because he been sweet to you today. No,
Now, look,
he just happy. He just happy. Let me tell you
These are
something.
things we could get right now. These are things we could get right now. But we,
Why can't
that's
they
why
get
we,
just
that's why
number
we
one?
we accept this shit. We told them we want comments about all of it.
He can't denounce the claim.
Keep less things off your brain you possibly can. Because pressure to get you, nerve pressure to get you.
You know, I think that the men are gonna have to give a little more consideration.
We did too. We bring a lady along with us for a second. When we come back, we told them that.
See, because very honestly, and you know it, John, it's these ladies, people like Mrs. Duncan, Mrs. McNeely, Mrs. Mazik, Mrs. Jackson. These, I don't know, they didn't know about the meeting, but they are the people who are really getting a job done around here.
No, you got the wrong.
Sure, but I
It's
mean,
not
they're
who
the
gets
ones
the
who-
job done. It's the one who can represent you down there.
I mean, but
If they
there
can
are some of
represent,
these
they got no white
ladies
ladies in
intelligent
it, y'all need
enough.
not. So we don't want that. We don't be men like them. If we're Negro, not good enough men to meet those people.
If you're gonna be a man, I think you should be a man always. Now, okay, nobody was being arrested out on the picket line. And the ladies were the ones who fought off those dogs. Well then, I think that y'all need to be so defensive about it. Not one. Just name me one of them whose name is on the school desegregation thing. Not one of them walked out there on the picket line. Over half of them never came. And yet when it's time to go around to the city hall, they can sit down there and make decisions. How can they make decisions when they really don't know what's going on?
Here is a repeat of an earlier news bulletin from WNAT. The mayor and board of aldermen of the city of Natchez, at a special meeting this afternoon, has taken strong action to preserve peace and order in Natchez by passing a resolution invoking a citywide curfew, effective at 10 p.m. each night until further notice. Beginning tonight, no persons will be allowed on any public highway, street, or sidewalk within the city between 10 p.m. and 5 a.m., with the exception of persons going directly from home to work or directly from work to home. The only exceptions will be medical doctors and transits.
So no one's supposed to be on the street not except the Klans.
Yeah.
I'll bet. I'll be willing to bet, no. No one. That the Klan is having a meeting tonight. Yeah. Let's go back up to the meeting. See what's going on. And what the thing they should talk on tonight is what are we going to do if they doesn't give us anything?
We're going to get these things. Now we're going to meet it. We're going, as I said before, I believe your applause, okay, that we're going to give our committee a chance. We're going to give the city of Natchez a chance to prove to us by Wednesday that they mean business. Now, if they're going to continue to give us the old runaround as they have 100 years, then we're going to let them know Thursday morning.
Ever since the bombing, I've been.
That's got to be Natchez, Mississippi, right? That's
leader now. And
that's got to be Natchez, Mississippi, right?
Yes, kid.
I said that's got to be Natchez, Mississippi, right?
They are going to go what?
Where they're at. That's got to be Natchez, Mississippi.
Today?
Natchez. The city that they're in right there, Seto. That's got to be Natchez, Mississippi, right? The story you got right. The story that you're showing, Seto. Story. That's got to be in Natchez, Mississippi. Yeah,
Okay.
a lot of things. That's the same town I had Maria, and you guys look up that African prince who got taken away into slavery. He ended up in that city 200 years before this happened. He ended up in this in the 1700s. And then also, when I think about Natchez after the Civil War, there was a concentration camp there where they allowed Africans to die. It's called it's something called the Bloody Fields of Natchez or something like that. They tell you don't eat the fruit. Don't eat the fruit in that city center because it's full of blood because a lot of African people died and they just put them in a mass grave. It was all bloody and shit in that city. Oh, I never seen it. Go ahead.
In Louisiana. And he said that I should organize my own deacon right here in Natchez.
Local, protection, police, Klan, and all that seems to be the general run.
Yeah, Natchez sits right on the Mississippi, Louisiana border.
Clans,
The Grand Dragons and the
city sits on the Louisiana, Mississippi border.
Ball. We can organize our own deacons right here. See, all we want to, the right steps to take. See.
He says this, man. And people all over everywhere trying to. He doesn't even have time to get around to the people that are calling him, man. Trying to get to see him. The people in Jackson, man, Alabama, even in New Orleans, man. The guys in New Orleans is forming a deacon, man. And New Orleans, just like Los Angeles, just like California, man. There's no segregation nowhere.
I know. It's like this city got souped up cars, man.
Yeah. Fast cars, man. Fast cars.
What kind of cars they got?
I didn't ask him, but he said it's fast, man. Yeah. They got to be fast, man.
Fast for catching them, or catching the potential victim that they going after and then getting away, huh?
Say, for instance, now we guarding this place, some place. Some guy comes by and shoot. We got to catch him, man, and shoot him. That's just all to it, man. You don't have to shoot him to kill him now. He says never shoot to kill at first now. You can wound him, like in the leg or shoot his tire, stop him, and, butt him in the leg and take him right on down to the police station, man.
Take him down.
You don't have to say that.
Let the police know first that they were going to take the law into their own hands in the Negro community.
This is just for defense. So if congregation come into the Negro community, just watch them and that's it, man. You can't stop people from, just driving on the street.
Did you ask me if you ever had to burn anybody, man? Now I don't mean to wound. I mean really burn, man. Really burn.
I didn't talk on killing. I didn't even talk about no killing, man. I just talked about, getting set up. I didn't talk about burning, cooking. Nah, he didn't say anything.
Yeah, but that's what it's called. The Devil's Punch Bowl. That's what it was called. I forgot the name of it. That's what it was called, the Devil's Punch Bowl. I forgot the name of it. Yeah, that's what that thing in Natchez was called, the Devil's Punch Bowl. That's right. All them black people that died in that concentration camp after the Civil War. Yeah, called the Devil's Punch Bowl. Go ahead, Chacho.
Finally came the time when Mayor was going to give us his answer. And I knew one way or the other, we weren't going to have to wait any longer.
Freedom. I want to sit down in my vineyard under my fig tree like others have done for 100 years.
surrender. God wants a man. And the Negroes need a leader. We thank God for Mr. Charles Edwards. We thank him much. I want you to know tonight, and I want the devil to hell to know, I'm not afraid no more.
At this time, I bring to you Reverend Shay Bowen.
We do not have any good news for you on the report. I talked with one of the aldermen this afternoon, and he said they are still working on the proposals and which we taken down Saturday. And on tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, the committees will go back and meet with the mayor and board of aldermen.
Last week, when we were ready to despair, when we were ready to take up arms, this man had a way of bringing peace to a chaotic town. This man had a way of changing fear to the feeling of freedom, the freedom that we're going to have with the help of all of you and with our leader here in Mississippi, the field secretary of the NAACP, Mr. Charles Edwards.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairman. I am just as sad and disturbed as you are, although I'm not disappointed, because I never thought they were going to do right. We waited, we met, and we've sang, we've done everything we know to do. We've prayed, and we're going to keep on praying. And we've sang, we're going to keep on singing, but we ain't marched yet. I'll admit we waited too long. But there's nothing we can do tonight but wait till tomorrow morning. We hadn't planned to do anything till tomorrow morning anyway. So all we're saying is this: we're winning. Let's keep the pressure on. Let's keep pushing forward. Let's march like soldiers with our chest out and our shoulders up and our looking straight ahead, and let nobody turn us around. Let nobody turn us around.
The 650 National Guardsmen stood by in the zip. The National Guard units arrived in Natchez at 6:30 this morning, following last night's executive order issued by Governor Johnson. The governor, in his proclamation, said there was imminent danger of a riot, mobs, unlawful assembly, and breach of the peace. The Guard commander, Adjutant General Walter Johnson, told newsmen at the National Guard Armory in Natchez this morning that the troops ordered into service last night by Governor Johnson were not in the city to supersede civil authority, but to ensure law and order.
When I got on the scene that morning, the Freedom Democrat Party kid was trying to get the people away from Ellis. Was trying to march to the courthouse right then and there.
I'm going to read everything on here. I'm not going to say anything else but what's on here, which was submitted by the people of Natchez 1 week ago. Okay. It says a declaration of the Negro citizens of Natchez, Mississippi. The United States
The mayor rejected all of the demands. I have an announcement to make right now. The announcement is that the city council, I just been told by Ms. Dory Ladner, has rejected every one of these demands. Rejected every one. See, every one that you submitted, they've been rejected. They said, no, you don't count. That's what they say. They say you can demand and demand and demand, but nothing's going to happen because we're going to reject them. We're going to keep the Ku Klux Klan, the headquarters right there, and we're going to bomb Metcalf again and any other person who puts his mouth up. Now, the question is, do you think that these demands should be resubmitted today by way of a march to the city council? Okay, regardless of who tells you to wait until tomorrow and the next day and the next day, I am willing to go today with you down to the city council to present this. You don't want no violence. The man say you gonna demonstrate legally. If you want to get I don't know who's gonna lead this march. Listen, people, listen. Okay, Mr. Evans is on his way here now. That is why he is on the call trying to get you stirred up. Just be patient a little longer and wait on Mr. Evans. Don't move until down. If you want to do something, get down and wait. If you want to do something, get back down.
Number one, all I want you to do is just wait. The committee just came in. We don't know what the committee has said. Now I understand that we have some eager beavers here who want to lead people off down the street without an understanding. Now, we're not in this just to go out and raise a whole lot of hell. We're in this to be sane and sensible. Now, those persons who will mislead you here will mislead you anyplace else. Amen. Now, all we've asked you to do, and I'll make this crystal clear, that this is an NAACP project along with the community of Natchez. And we're not going to let none of the rest of you come in here and take over our project. You understand that? Let's make that clear. I want to make that clear. Now, if there are any of you people who come in here just to stir up trouble, you're so bad and want to do so much, go ahead on. Go ahead on. Now, go ahead. Go ahead. Now, you people on the back door here, they're not going to do anything, get you in a lot of trouble. So we'll ask you to wait patiently here, and we can go upstairs, meet with the committee, and we'll come back down and tell you what we're going to do. Thank you very much.
Contemplating marching to the White House Cafe.
How are you doing?
Not to the coffee? To the White House Cafe. I imagine that the chief of police told them that they could block off Pine Street March to the White House, but that's all.
You're going to the White House? You're going to the White House?
What you going to the White House for? The White House is a lounge and a cafe. We're not going to the White House in Washington, D.C., honey. They were talking about going to the one on East Woodlawn, but we're not going there. If we go anywhere, we go to the courthouse.
That's right.
Go where Mayor
All right.
The moon was to create some kind of thing where people learn to use their own mind, make their own judgment, say what they think about things.
And now they're going to start letting people higher than they are make decisions. People up in society make decisions instead of the people make decisions. And that's just what's happened here, you know. Mr. Edwards has made the decision again.
Just like the white man doing.
There's no man out there making up your man.
Yeah, well, if Charlie ever say
he's not out there though.
When he come, he's coming. When he say, let's go to the White House, regardless of whether it's going to the White House going mean anything, they're going to the White House because Charlie ever say so. They're not making up their own mind.
Does it mean anything to go to the courthouse?
It means something. I mean, to me, it do. Okay.
That's right. Majority decides.
I want to prove it. Anybody from Jackson or any place else coming down here and mapping out the plans. He has organized and mapped out every single meeting. The people haven't had a chance to say boo if they wanted to.
I predict
that you do not march. And further, I predict that there won't be a march today.
Where's the committee working?
I'll be on the front line if there's a march. And I'll be with you.
Down to the
As a matter of fact, if there are people who want to march and present this to the mayor, I'll go down with you.
Charles Evans has not made a statement yet. We are organized, we know what we're gonna do, but we have to wait for a time to do it. And they're down there telling them, y'all come on, let's go to the courthouse, because the NAA, Charles Evans is going to the White House. That's right, I have seen it.
What's the fuss about? Who down that march so the jail will be filled up when we get there. We won't have nowhere to put us. They're going to go put us.
He's down there telling them that Charles Evans is going to march to the White House and that they should go on and march to the courthouse. And that is dividing the community and it's wrong and he's not here for any good. And we can do without people like him.
We don't want nobody to agitate. We for strictly business now, no agitation.
That's right.
And we don't want no crackheads falling down to make trouble.
We don't need nobody with a long beard looking like Castro going around without a penny to pay, going around here telling these kids to get put in jail. He won't need somebody to lead all these dropouts back into school along with him, and he'll be doing something. He out there, talking about that stuff. And he better keep Charles Evans' name out of his mouth anyway.
What do you want to talk about, man? I want to talk to you, man. I don't want public, I don't want it public. Well, let's wait a little while. I know that down at that jail in Natchez, you got about 10 people who are black for every white person you have down there, and they haven't committed any crime. So you're still going to jail whether you commit crimes or not.
Some cat come up with the wrong stuff, leading about anywhere, Like if you get a piece of wrong thing and be a ride right here, man.
Nah, I'm not going to say this. I want you to say it, though, you see. Whatever you want to say.
Wait till,
They're waiting here.
Why are you supposed to sit and go,
No, you did it wrong. They're waiting here. See, I ain't going nowhere where people want to go.
You call leaders are nothing but tall.
Yeah, I still
They go down and they scratch their heads and they come back and say that we didn't get anything. Just like they're gonna say when they come out here.
Yeah.
Watch and see.
At this time,
You hear now?
Yeah.
we come to give you a symbol of the report, which at this time we cannot spell out to you all of the details. We feel that we will have to be committed, have to study this report, and then tell you at a later date what we are planning to do about it.
You can't panic, people. One thing to happen. Before you get scared.
I've waited too long.
I'll wait for no one.
Our field secretary, Mr. Charles Evans. Thank you very much. I guess you can look around you and see that we not outnumbered on the ground, we outnumbered on our heads too. The committee and the local leadership here, along with myself, and I'll make this clear, feel that maybe the tension is too high and there's too much of a chance to risk of bloodshed to ask you to march down the streets of Natchez. Now, I'm only going to give it to you like we feel.
Moses led out of Egypt. Now you the leaders out of Natchez.
We feel that
Church has been up since they've been bombing and shooting up.
But I'm only speaking on behalf of the local leadership of this city.
Let's go.
Now, I'm here to do whatever the local people want done with the local people. As we said before, and I'll make this crystal clear, that this is an NAACP project. We're not going to let no other organization come in and take over. And we're going to do it the way we want it done. And those don't like the way we do it, hit the streets now. You're on your own.
That's what the white
If anyone here who don't like the way we conduct our business, and I've heard it's been said that we don't conduct the way they want it done, I want you to let you know you have my permission to go ahead on. Nobody's going to stop you. But now, since if we're going to pay the bail bond, if we're going to find your lawyers, then we're going to tell you when to march and how to march. I hope we could have marched to the courthouse. But I understand the courthouse is closed. I still said that we didn't get what we wanted. We didn't get anything.
Amen.
But we haven't lost the faith. But the mayor said that he would meet with groups after the thing cooled off. Well, we got the group ready to know that things ain't gonna never cool off until they get something done downtown.
We didn't get what we went in. But all we do, keep praying. The Lord is able, and I'm trusting Him. And He'll make the way for us.
That's right.
All we do is stay in His prayers and be right, and we're not out there for no violence.
Be for the right thing.
And let's look to the Lord, and we pray for this right now. Lord, you take it in charge and fix it for our poor people down here.
Well, they're not gonna get anywhere arguing among themselves and fighting among themselves.
Bill Ware got up and had something to say. Now, he wasn't telling anybody to hit the streets now. All he was saying is, do you want to march? And he was putting it to you.
Well, he know that they want to march.
What?
That's the reason they were here. They thought they were going to march. That's why they were here.
Do you think it was right for that other guy to get up and interrupt him like that? Did you think that was right?
Yes, it was right, because a lot of them was ready to go and didn't know what the hell they was going for.
Now you just contradicted yourself. They came to march.
Yeah, they came to march, but like I said, it was a lot of kids. They didn't know they was going to march, but it's just like being in a parade to them.
You just contradicted yourself.
Really? Yeah, I want freedom. I want freedom just as bad as anybody else, you know. Huh?
Did you want to march or didn't you?
Yeah, I want to march, and when everybody else march, I'm going to march too.
Just like she
but I'd be damned if I'm going down there by myself.
Like she said, though, like she said, though, you got to wait. You got to wait. You got to wait. You got to wait on.
Go by yourself. She didn't go by herself.
You got to wait on your leader.
He didn't go by himself. Now I'm not going by myself.
You got to wait on
when it be done, we're gonna do it together.
You got to wait on God. You wait on Him. You wait on God. Just wait on the Lord. He bring us out.
I'm gonna stay on my knees and pray that I get free.
No, that's up to you, but I'm gonna wait on it. I'm gonna wait.
Ain't nothing wrong with praying. They got them here for the help of white folks. They ain't got them here for
you
us.
pray, and He'll fix it
But
for you.
see, if they start jumping on you, the president of the United States can federalize them like it did in Alabama.
Well, maybe we'll get that.
Well, how are you gonna get it?
And we got somebody who's the leader. They got field men, ain't they? Me and you ain't no field men. If that man had been here, we wouldn't have had no singing up here.
Who?
Wouldn't have been out. You got nobody lead here.
Charles, that one here when we
I
started.
said if he hadn't been here, we wouldn't have had nobody to lead. It wouldn't have been no kind of meeting at this place if he hadn't come. But when things happen, but quite naturally, we just have to wait on time. We got to wait on time now. Got to wait.
A change is gonna come.
Oh yeah. All we got to do is
But not in the midnight hour.
have faith.
I'm sick, man. I'm tired. That's why I just went on and just hustled up the money and just say I'm just gonna do something, man. You know what I mean? I'm tired of niggas. I'm gonna say niggas, man. Well, that's what they are. Lying, meeting, you know. Gonna do this, man. You know what I'm talking about? And never do nothing. Just playing. Negroes, the planning is people I ever seen, boy. We playing too damn much, man. And never do nothing. So I'm not playing no more. So I'm just gonna go on do it on my own, Lord, man. Man, I done been to 135 meetings, and that's all I ever did was meet, man. Did nothing else, you know. Say for instance, NAA meet. They meet, they talk the same thing all the time, man. You know, it's probably good, you know, but I don't understand. I don't see why people should meet all the time and do nothing. Okay, I got out on my bending knees, man. Took an oath. You know, we met that night. 2 months done passed, haven't been another meeting.
The next day, we got 5 guys together that I thought I could trust, and we had our first meeting.
I believe just like Martin Luther King, everybody else, I believe in nonviolence, you know? I really do, man. I think nonviolence is the only way to solve the problem, you know? Then on the other hand, I believe that our people should stop getting killed, man. Like, you know, people driving by, killing them. Like, a lot of people would be in the movement, man, like business people if they had some protection. We don't have protection from the police. Say now, been in 1, 2, 3, 4 things like this, Otis and I. First was the Black Brothers. They didn't do nothing. Next thing was...
Yeah, we did something. I mean, we did it ourselves.
Yeah, you and I.
Yeah.
Next thing was the Deacons. That we was just in with some other guys. They didn't do nothing. And a few more things that was supposed to do something, you know? So it's no need, man, like I was saying, man, no need to start this year. Going through all this year, we're not going to do something.
Can I say something, man? Now, I have heard about those other things that supposed to be going on and all this. Man, it's no use in trying to start something if we're not going to do anything and not serious about it. And I think that we should. I mean, it's time for us to do something right now.
Yeah, and if there's anyone in this room right this moment that isn't serious, it's now the time to say it, man. You know, like, there's no need to wait, you know.
You and I both know, John.
Man, I was on my knees like this, man, about 3 weeks ago, taking an oath that I wouldn't do this and wouldn't do that, you know. And, I mean, that was the end of that, man. I ain't seen it no more, man.
Yeah. You know, I know all you guys that have grown up together like brothers. Yeah. This is one thing I want to say. And in a way, why the other organizations didn't halfway get off the feet, some of them that is because we had guys that take these oaths and they were doing it just for the hell of it, just to be in something, but they didn't mean it, you know. We're not going to take oath. We don't need to do that. We're just going to have an understanding, a good understanding, you know. I like you, him, and I like myself, you know. And I figure silence, you know. Your tongue is the worst weapon against any man. And I want to say this, and I mean it from my heart, that I swear before God, may it kill me now if I don't mean it. For something as important as this, I'd burn my brother. I'd blow his damn brains up. And I'd do the same to you, and to him, and to him, and to him. You know? Yeah, before I let one guy mess up a lot of guys, it's small now. You know, you see the number of us. You know, I'm not directing anything to any one individual, you understand? Because I would want everybody in here to feel the same way about me. Yeah. And I feel like we all feel that way. Yeah, I feel then we're going to, you know, we're going to respect each other. We're going to learn to love each other, to live together, to drink together, and above all, fight hard together. Push, man. Push, you know. All of us push in the same direction.
Let me say this, Otis. Do you think, now, I mean, I'm as afraid as the next man. You know, I'd be a damn lie to sit there and say that, man, I'm not scared of nothing, you know. I'm scared, man, you know. I'd be nuts if I want, man, you know. But, you know, like, if they get me to the police station, put a gun on my head and cock and say, nigga, I'm gonna blow your brains out if you don't tell me so and so and so. I got something enough to know, man, that he gonna blow my brains out if I tell him.
If they don't blow it out,
yeah,
and you get out, one of us will. Yeah, I want you to do the same thing to me. You know, this is what I mean. Your brother do it. It'll be more like a mercy killing, you know.
So it might be.
I wish you quit running into me, man. You make me miss it.
I guess the Freedom Democrat Party people still thought they could do something because they called a meeting at the Bright Star Church. And all their big leaders and things came down from all over the state. And they tried to get the people to get up and march that night.
Freedom Democratic Party is committed to do what you want to do. We feel you've been disgraced here. After getting the whole world to believe that the black people in Mississippi and Natchez were going to move on Thursday, nothing happened.
I don't want to march on this accord. I'm not afraid to march. And I've never marched. But if a man or woman, really, I am a woman, and if a man or woman hits me, I'm going to hit him back. And so I don't want to get in there. Since it's nonviolent, I don't want to get in there and upset, your plans that you have before you. Now, I'm not afraid to march. But if he hold my hand, if he stand in front of me, I'm going to spit on him. I'm not afraid of it.
You blame you. You might be the next one. You. And the pitiful thing is, it's not up to you to decide. So if you want to, see, Bill left out one form of demonstration. He talked about picketing. He talked about staying here after 10 o'clock. He talked about marching. He talked about sitting in. And he talked about the kind of demonstration that you have been doing for years. Being quiet and doing nothing. You're demonstrating. You're demonstrating in the opposite fashion with the rest of Africa, the rest of the people who are moving, but you're demonstrating. You're being heard and you're being understood by simply being quiet and sitting back and staying in your places. The most cowardly thing I have ever heard is for someone to say, I would go with y'all, but I ain't nonviolent.
It's downright pitiful. The man is in critical condition, and people have walked out. Everybody's in a big hurry to go home. And I was sitting there thinking about my child is at home. He burned his leg. I need to be there too. See, that's where we can all go back and think of things we need to be doing, But I am concerned, people. I am really concerned. And that's the reason I'm here tonight. I'm from Issaquah County, the smallest county, I think, in the state. But people, I came here with such, folks done he has National Guards out everywhere, police running around everywhere, and people sitting up just ain't, look like they ain't concerned. It's pitiful. And I'm just full, Because right now, all of us this church needs to be packed. We should move. When 10 o'clock comes, people should be talking about anything they want to talk about. People not here, not even ministering what I'm talking about. But I still want to do it. Because I am concerned about what have happened to us black people. And we sit up and holler, yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am. I don't know about y'all, but I'm tired of it. And I'm tired of people telling me that this here is curfew, and I don't know nothing about it. Somebody else sitting there made it. Now, we can't even draw a piece of paper and take it up there to them. No, they tell you, go home, niggas, and shut up. See, and I get madder and madder. And I don't understand it. See, you're right. You ain't qualified to go up there because you ain't mad enough. I don't know. Don't nobody, ain't no telling you that folks say, ain't no telling what I might do. What, it ain't? It ain't no telling what all of us might do. But at least get up, people, and try.
Everett's finally gotten around to putting a boycott on town. And we thought we was getting somewhere then. They got some of the demands, and then after that, Elvis and the NAA called the boycott off. Then everybody got discouraged, including me. I got out of the Deacons and also got out of the Civil Rights Movement. Then February 1967, Wallace Jackson got bombed and killed, the same way George Metcalf got bombed. We're almost just about right where we started. Right back where we started.
For a long time, black people, we have been a target. Black people have been exposed to all worst conditions for years. Black people have been used in various things and they have not been paid. They have created a lot of confusion in the heads of black people. They have jailed, they have killed the black. At the time was I look at, of course, how these people, of course, do their things and how they think about. I know they don't think about and they don't care about the black people. They don't care about the black people, what they go through. But this should be, of course, all these events that, of course, our people went through in history should be an example. Actually, should be an example to we who are living today to understand the pain our ancestors went through, to understand what we are going through right about now as, of course, black people. I know there are a lot of things African Americans go through every day. They can't mention and complete them every day because such operation has never ended. It just changed the face, but it has never and never and never ended. However much, to some extent, today we see some blacks engaging in politics, but all these are puppets for the Bazungus. We know that these are puppets for the Bazungus, seeing blacks in politics, seeing very many blacks in the entertainment industry, actually almost leading America's entertainment industry, the blacks, but these are puppets. They don't even they are not even given a chance to address the real issues for Africans, for they to address the real issues their brothers and sisters are going through. They don't care about anything because they are puppets. So if you see any black uh, coming out to, of course, to prosper in something, just know that is a puppet. There is someone behind that person, and there are forces because they can't allow you to go up. They can't allow you to be straight. They always beat your knees so that you kneel down, so that you kneel before them. It's crazy. At the time, most people in Africa think that the people that are outside Africa, the people in Europe and USA, these of course Africans, of course, are having a better life. That is the mindset black people in Africa have, Africans have. They think for those people that are in USA, of course, in Europe, for them they are doing well, the black people, because they think these Bazungus are these whites are good people, which is wrong. That's why very many people desire to go outside because they think there is a lot of green pastures outside Africa. But just look what these people went through in 1965. It's not only 1965, even today, we are going to come up with, of course, more documentaries about, of course, what black people are going through, and we are going to have